weather started to get a bit cooler, so I decided to work inside today, and I'm putting together this kitchen island or buffet that I kind of had the idea in my head. I'll just give you a look. I just bought these individual cabinets and I'm going to screw them all together, and then I'm going to extend it out here so that people can sit at the buffet, and it's going to have a wooden tabletop, and it gives you a bit more space to work on, because this kitchen gets a bit cramped when you're trying to do stuff, so having an extra workspace would be very good. And so this seems to be a kind of reasonable option and not too expensive, and we'll see how we go with it. I'm just getting some paneling cut for my kitchen island here at the DCM, kind of like their Bunnings. I also found this Ainu carving, which I decided would make a great coffee table. So that's what I did. I turned it into a coffee table for outside. And I found this box which I put some legs on, and then I ended up staining it and putting a white panel insert, and it came up pretty good as a coffee table. So I'm sitting here with my Vietnamese coffee. It's Saturday, it's raining. I'll be doing painting today, as you can see. There's the walls. And I'm starting to look like a tired old homeless person. Two out of three of those are correct, except for the homeless, because I actually have a home. Or looking a bit like a wild man of the forest. But I will have a transformation in the next day or two, because there's a barber who does a haircut, shampoo, trims your beard, all that kind of stuff for 25 bucks in the local town. So I'm going to go there and we'll see the difference. And yesterday there was a bear sighting in the area here, and a warning to stay inside, I think. Anyway, it was in Japanese, so I didn't know. A friend of mine told me about it, and I was down in Murmuran, so it didn't really affect me. But it's very rare, but that's pretty interesting. Yeah, cool. And one other thing I wanted to mention was that another good friend of mine, John Ryan, died a week or two back. And he was another friend that I knew from my childhood, and known him for 50 years or more. And another friend, Lars Felt, a survival master in Sweden, also died. Wonderful guy. And I guess the point of all this is that you just never know when you're going to go. So make the best of it. Don't wait. Make choices now, because it could be over very quickly. And while you're alive, there will be coffee. I hope. When I went to Thailand to rescue kids many years ago, I thought it was going to be a one-way trip. So I actually made peace with the concept of my own death way back then. So I'm good with it. And I really suggest that no matter how old you are, that you make peace with that sooner rather than later. And one of the things I don't want to see for anyone is to have them die with regrets. So on your deathbed, I hope that you're looking back and you're saying, I'm glad I did that, rather than I wish I did that. And I am grateful for another day. That's all I've got to say. I'll be returning to my lovely wife soon, so I better get a haircut. I'm here with Isura-san, who's about to give me a haircut, shave, shampoo. Okay, arigato. To make me look beautiful. Kawaii. So I'm no longer quite the wild hermit in the woods after my haircut, shave, and shampoo. And that was like $23. Pretty damn fun and very enjoyable. Woohoo! My wife will be happy. Well, I've dyed my hair last night, and the result wasn't quite what I expected. All went a bit yellowish. But that's not the main news. The main news is that I am on my way to the airport. Well, I was on my way to the airport to leave Hokkaido to fly back to Okinawa. And it's about a 2-hour trip, just over 2 hours. And I was very careful along the way because it was there was a snowstorm, and you know, the weather was not good, and there's snow everywhere. And finally, only about 15 minutes away, and the traffic lights stopped, and the guy in front of me stopped, and I was only doing probably 15 kilometers an hour. Put the brakes on and hit this ice and just slid all the way into the back of the other guy's car. And so now he's really good about it, and so now I'm just sitting in the car. We're waiting for the police, because in Japan you have to contact the police if there's an accident. And then I was just told that because there have been so many accidents, the police are delayed, and my flight is in, I gave myself a lot of time to get here in case of issues, and my flight is in an hour and a half. But by the time the police get here and we've sorted everything out, I may not make it, and I have to decide whether to change the flight. Luckily, it's one of those ones where you can change, but I have to do that at least an hour before, and I'm just trying to make up my mind whether to stay in Sapporo tonight and fly out tomorrow, or risk it. I don't know. Anyway, life is full of challenges, so I'll let you know how it goes. So this was the damage that was caused to my car. It doesn't look like a huge amount, but ended up costing me about $1,500 because it wasn't covered by insurance. This is the damage to his car, which was covered by my insurance. And this was the icy road. When you hit ice, there's not much you can do. You just slide. I didn't get a chance to change my flight because I was talking to the police, and when I got to the airport I missed my check-in by about a minute, so I had to stay overnight and fly out the next day, which cost me about another $300. But what can you do when things get shitty? Just go and have a coffee, and the world seems a little bit better. But the good news was that I was on my way back to Okinawa and my lovely wife, Misao. So I got back to a lovely, warm Okinawan winter, and back with Misao and training again in swordsmanship with my Kenjutsu class. And we also started having a look around Okinawa and sightseeing, which was all very pleasant. But unfortunately, I got a phone call from a neighbour in Hokkaido who told me that the house was leaking water. And so I had to ring the manager up there to find out what was going on. And it turned out that many of the pipes in the house had burst once the temperature got down to a certain degree. And unfortunately, it was a big job. The good news was that it was covered by insurance, pretty much mostly. And what had happened was that I had put these heating coils around the pipes to stop them from freezing. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that that was not enough. And once the temperature gets too low, the pipes tend to burst up in Hokkaido. And the temperature did get very low. and caused a great big mess. I think it busted something like 6 or 8 pipes, so the kitchen was a mess, the bathroom was a mess, and all the pipes had to be replaced. So that was a bit of an adventure and a lesson learned. It turns out that I should have turned off the water and emptied out the pipes when I left, but I thought that those coils would actually fix the problem.
Okay, and we see most likely the pipes behind the washing machines burst out as well, and the water is all over the lavatory here. Yeah, the boiler, unfortunately I think it's on the toilet also. Yeah, so I just need to send a report to the insurance council. Update you later. Bye for now.
The water sprayed out all over the kitchen and froze everything, as you can see here with the dishcloths and also containers and you name it. It also sprayed over the bathroom area, the toilet, so the place was a bit of a mess, and it was a big job to fix it.
見て、ゴミ箱が氷でいっぱいです。溢れてるよ。
Basically, the water burst out of this little 2 pipes out everywhere. Even this is completely frozen. The floor is frozen, and the water is gone all the way to that corner of the kitchen and all the way to here.
It seems also that the windows weren't corked properly or sealed properly, and so when the water splashed out all over the place, it also went in through the cracks, and when the place heated up a bit, it started leaking back through the windows. And you can see here there's icicles outside which were formed from the water that escaped through the window, and they had to remove the kitchen sink. They had to replace the piping in the ceiling as well. There was a lot of work. They had to lift up the floor. It's unfortunate because I really like the floor I put down, but they put down this one which looks pretty good. And outside, of course, the place is covered in ice or icicles.
やばっ。これをとりあえずやっつけますかね。
I did get a new sink out of it, which was pretty good. And they did install the new toilet, also good. And they sealed the windows as best they could, but that might require more work in the future. And you can see here that all the pipes have been replaced with these pipes instead. So all in all, it was a pretty good job that they did, and it should work fine now as long as I come up with a way of keeping them from freezing. So thanks to the guys that did it. And I'm heading back to Hokkaido this Friday, where I'll be meeting up with my daughter, and we're going to spend a month in Hokkaido at the house, fixing things and seeing how we're going to prevent this from happening in the future, but also putting in more insulation and a whole bunch of other things, but enjoying Hokkaido and the quiet of the place. So I'm looking forward to it. See you next video.